Do you happen to just find yourself in a losing streak with Manon every single time and you just don't know how to solve the problem? Well, it's likely because these three things are costing you games. And so in this video, we're going to go over 3 reasons why you're losing with Manon in Street Fighter 6. So all that being said, if you want to see more educational content like this, then be sure as always to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get straight to it. So number 1 is, quite frankly, the biggest one that costs Manons a lot of games, and that is impatience. When you play impatiently, especially in Street Fighter 6 where there's so many mechanics involved like drive impact, drive rush, Manon really wants to be a patient, methodical, and very meticulous character when it comes to earning her damage, earning her reward for getting in and getting her command grabs. So if you're the type of person that's impatient, you're constantly rushing in, you're jumping in, you're giving up space, you're not covering your options well enough, you feel like you have to press more buttons than you should, then that's likely a strong indicator that you have a habit that needs to be removed because it's costing you games. It's costing you valuable trades that you can be utilizing in the game while you're playing. And so when you're impatient, you become really predictable in your actions. For example, when you walk forward and you jump in out of impatience, the opponent's going to know and make a read and just anti-air you. Or you're impatient because you want that command grab, but then the opponent just crouching jabs you because they know that you're predictable and you just want to get a throw for the sake of getting a throw, and you're not really playing the neutral game correctly, which we'll get into very soon. So you need to play this game slow, especially with Manon. Other characters are different, but with Manon you really want to be very slow and methodical on how you approach the enemy, and don't just go about it in one way. Everybody knows that Manon wants a command grab, so you need to be able to mix up your approach and really find ways to open up the enemy while still being able to optimize combos and get your medals up. So that being said, let's move on to the next point. Now, number 2 is just as impactful, if not more imperative than number 1, and that is poor meter management. Street Fighter 6 introduced us to the drive gauge, in which most of your moves, whether they be overdrive or drive rushing, drive parrying, all of these things take up your resources. And so as Manon, your meter management is so imperative because most of your combos utilize drive rush a lot. And so if you're oftentimes in neutral spamming out, let's say your drive rush, but you're not hitting anything, or you're maybe mashing out drive impact too much or drive reversal too much, you're giving up all of these valuable resources that you really need to utilize. Because think of it this way, Manon excels in neutral where she can optimize combos with her drive rush, but because your resources are so important, you have to really think about reasons why you're going to be using your meter here versus, let's say, the next round, so on and so forth. So when you're approaching an enemy, you have to always be thinking very carefully and strategically about how you want to utilize your combo, why you're using it, and when to use it. Are they in the corner? Do you want to pressure them more? Are they just walking back and forth in neutral? Can you take advantage of it? Making sure to pay attention to your meter is one surefire way to win more games, A, but 2, you don't want to put yourself in burnout state. If you are the Manon and you're burning out faster than the enemy is, you have a problem. Because Manon in burnout is really bad because she has no wake up options and she really has no way of escaping pressure, especially in the corner. So what you want to do as a Manon is you want to look at the opponent's meter versus yours and try to really optimize your meter effectively. So therefore, they're in burnout faster than you, and so now you can utilize your combo game to really condition them and focus on getting those wins. That being said, let's move on to the last point. Manon is a character that needs to be getting in. And one of her ways, in fact, one of her best ways of getting in is by playing a really smart and really calculating neutral game. And so perhaps the reason why you're losing is because you are lacking in this one area of efficiency. That is, you lack whiff punishing, you lack counter poking, and much of your approach consists of, mentioned earlier, maybe jumping in too much, you're too impatient, you're not really giving and taking in the matchup, you're being too aggressive and giving up space and not really utilizing your kit effectively to ensure that your opponent is conditioned enough to where you can get your command grabs. So if you're not playing this game where you're trying to space yourself, you're trying to look for the more optimal approach to playing Manon, then you're oftentimes going to find yourself in losing bouts because your game plan is too heavily focused on one approach, one-dimensional thinking. I want to get the throw, and that's it. But while the throw is certainly part of the game plan, while the throw is certainly the end goal, you must have a starting point. And Manon's starting point begins primarily in her neutral game. A lot of her pokes are really strong, and they can easily confirm into a combo which can give you medals without having to really worry too much about doing a raw command grab. If your game plan is solely based on jumping in and just trying to get a raw command grab, then once again, you're just going to fall behind and you become too predictable in your approach. And as a result, you're just going to lose and you're going to get frustrated. And it's not the character's problem, it's a you problem. So from here on out, what I want you to do is go into training mode and just play with her buttons and see what works best in neutral for you. A lot of her moves, again, standing medium punch is great. Standing roundhouse is one of her best tools in my opinion, even though it does suffer from drive impact because it cannot be canceled into a special move. So it's a pretty high committal move, but it does get the job done, especially for those who try to be too aggressive against you. Crouching medium kick is still good, even though it doesn't confirm into anything. It's still a great poking option. So really try to look at each part of her kit and just see where you need to position yourself on the battlefield. And so therefore you can always find results and condition the enemy to your liking, therefore give you the upper hand in every scenario. So as always, new warriors, thank you so much for tuning in and making it this far in the video. If of course you want to see more, then check out my other videos as well. It helps the algorithm, and hey, it helps your boy out. So until next time, as always, stay strong and keep fighting. Peace.